Good evening. Digging out after a record-setting snowfall. Across the GTA, people spent the day dealing with the massive dumping of snow that buried the region yesterday.
From roads to sidewalks, trains to planes, schools to businesses, the after effects of this latest storm being felt in a big way. We start our coverage tonight with CTV's Allison Hurst, who's been out in the elements all day. Allison.
Nathan, we've seen it all. People, teams of neighbors out digging out their driveways, their cars, their sidewalks, their walkways up to their house, everything buried in the snow. Gary Bensley is hard at work digging out his driveway.
It was crazy. We haven't had storms like that in a long time.
The storm set a new record for the city, dropping a whopping 56 centimeters of snow.
It really was nuts. I was going to get out here and do some of this yesterday. I thought, I just don't want to go outside in the snow. I'll wait till tomorrow.
All night and through the day, plows have been clearing streets.
We will continue plowing nonstop, and we won't stop until the job is done.
City staff say it's all hands on deck with 600 plows and about 1,300 staff working. Officials have declared a special weather event and major snowstorm condition which bans parking on snow routes.
We have to get through the plowing before we can get to that large-scale operation.
Emergency vehicles still struggle navigating certain roads that are two-way streets, but now down to one lane.
It's horrible, honestly. Originally, I'm from Alberta, so I'm a little bit accustomed to it, but I never expected it to be like this in Toronto.
Along many streets, cars are buried under snow and banks are pushed into traffic.
It's the worst that I've ever seen it.
Morgan Fulton used her body to clear off her car.
First, I had to make sure it was my car because who knows under all that snow.
Chris Rogers has been tackling the snow for hours.
Thank God it's not so heavy. So if it were really heavy, it'd be harder to move.
And Hannah Clayman dug out her car with help from her partner.
I'm just trying to get this done before, we can start the day.
It's shocking, to be honest. When we came outside and the stairs were completely covered 3 times in a row, we were like, okay, this is next level.
A next level storm leaving a trail of snow-covered roads and buried cars in its path. And one of the comments we've heard from a lot of people here in the East End is, where do they put the snow when they clear it? A lot of them are running out of space on small properties or on the snow piles on the side of the road that they have are already getting so tall. We do know from city officials that snow removal is set to start tomorrow. A little bit was done today in some priority areas, but it is set to really get going tomorrow, and then it's going to ramp up over the next couple of days. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. And not surprisingly, the record snowfall causing delays and cancellations. How it's impacting thousands at Pearson Airport and commuters using public transit.
And as for the forecasters, a live look at the city. Many still digging out of that record-breaking storm. We're also still dealing with the deep freeze tonight. Lindsay Morrison is here with a look at the current conditions. Lindsay.
Yeah, Nathan, this is a fresh round of cold air making its way into southern Ontario. We're under a cold warning yet again here in the city of Toronto. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first, yes, let's recap some of these snowfall totals. My goodness, upwards of 60 centimeters of snow in some areas like downtown Toronto, the south end of Scarborough. We've talked about Pearson Airport. That's a record snowfall amount, 46 centimeters in one day, the snowiest snowfall day in Toronto Pearson Airport's history. As for what's left, well, we've still been seeing a couple of lingering flurries and some blowing snow. There's been some lake effect snow off Lake Huron, but that band is weakening as we speak. Not much left in the way of snow squall watches and warnings. We are, however, talking about the cold warning. We've got winds out of the northwest once again today, and now a bit of a westerly wind at this hour. The cold warning of the fact that we are going to experience wind chills into the -20s and even close to -30 through the overnight hours tonight. Right now, it is chilly, and we're on our way to an overnight low of -15 degrees, feeling like -26. Lots to recap in your weather forecast and lots to talk about of what's to come this week. It's all ahead, but for now, Nathan and Michelle, back inside to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, the weather has meant subway service has struggled to stay on the rails today with several major disruptions on lines 1 and 2 and more issues on that problem-plagued line 6. Our Sean Lee Thong is live tonight with that side of things. Sean.
Well, Michelle and Nathan, line 6 was closed much of the day for the morning. Lines 1 and 2 had several stoppages. They needed to get reworking. There's still some at this hour. The crowd waiting outside Young Bloor Station. TTC Line 1 service disrupted due to weather all the way to Eglinton. Passengers experiencing frustration.
Oh, no, I'm not having a great time if that's what you're asking, no. We need more shuttle, right? That's the solution.
According to the TTC, 1,300 buses were in operation today using surge capacity to try and make up for the disruptions. This is just one of several major disruptions a day after that record-setting snowfall. On Line 2 this morning, no service from Kipling to Islington Station, also weather-related, slowing the morning commute for some.
Oh, it's so sad because I need to get to work.
It's so bad because I'm trying to find my way, but could not find my way out.
You worried to be late?
Definitely I'm going to be late.
Line 2 also affected in the East End from Vic Park to Kennedy. Line 1 shut down from St. Clair West to Shepherd West Station, weather-related as well. The service disruptions started during the heavy snowfall yesterday with TTC staff working round the clock.
Hundreds of TTC employees are working to remove the snowpack by hand, and so that work continues so that we can get more regular subway service going.
It's so sad because it's cold and I'm cold.
This morning, the entire Line 6 Finch West LRT was out of service.
There's no train, and I was waiting. I'm 1 hour late. I have to take the bus, 3 buses to get here.
The new LRT line coming back online early this afternoon. Line 2 between Kipling and Islington resuming service this afternoon, only to be shut down later for a mechanical issue between Kipling and Jane.
It's very frustrating. I wish more can be done, and I have to go because I'm taking this bus. Thank you.
Line 1 from St. Clair West to Shepherd West Station resuming by mid-afternoon. So it appears that Line 2 is mostly reopened, with the only stoppage right now being from Vic Park to Kennedy. And in the last little while, we found out that service is resuming from Bloor to Eglinton. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leathong. Nathan and Michelle, send it back to you.
Thank you, Sean. And for thousands of travelers, it's been a rough couple of days with hundreds of flight cancellations and delays.
The severe weather we've endured also impacting other major centers. CTV's Raheem Ladani's live tonight at Pearson Airport. Raheem, how are things looking tonight?
Hey, Nathan, you know, the foot traffic has actually picked up over the last couple of hours here at Pearson. However, that's not to say everyone here is going to get to their final destination. There are still quite a number of flight delays and cancellations on the board. And a lot of the people we've been chatting with today, they were supposed to fly out of Toronto yesterday.
Searching for some good news about their flights, travelers inside Toronto's Pearson Airport are playing catch-up after the weekend winter storm.
We're coming back after being canceled yesterday. And very disappointingly, we're on our way to Lisbon and then Cairo. So we have connecting flights to make, so we're kind of stressed out right now.
You can understand why. Many of these travelers spent nearly the entire day at the airport Sunday, hoping to get to their destination, only to be disappointed.
We were sitting in the aircraft when we got to know that it cannot take off. So yeah, we went back to the gate, and then everything happened, and I'm almost here since like the last 24 hours.
Around 46 centimeters of snow fell at Canada's busiest airport, blanketing runways. Ground crews have been operating dozens of specialized equipment around the clock to help with the snow clearing operation.
That amount of snow on the airfield continues to be pushed around into different areas, and that's because there's just so much over the 5 million square meters. So you can see here this snowplow right now moving snow into a melter in real time.
Even those who planned ahead can't escape the travel headache. This family flew into Toronto from Sault Ste. Marie a day early, hoping to avoid the storm, but their flight to Cancun is still delayed.
We've been on the phone trying to get through to Air Canada the whole time, and we haven't been able to get a hold of anyone up until last night, so it's been a little bit frustrating.
Has it been fun being stuck at the airport?
No.
Airport officials say it will take a couple of days to restore operations back to normal. However, that will also depend on other airports across North America, which are also recovering from the heavy snowfall.
This system impacted from Texas all the way to the Atlantic provinces. There's multiple airports that are impacted yesterday, today, and possibly even tomorrow.
For those at the airport, all they can do is keep checking their flight status.
Right now, mine is on time and going to depart without an issue. Let's hope.
Fingers crossed they'll take off soon.
And airport officials tell us that planes are taking off at about half the rate that they would be when they are operating at normal operations. And that's why they're continuing to tell passengers the best advice is to check in with the airline on the flight of your status before coming to the airport. Reporting live, I'm Raheem Ladani. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Raheem. Still ahead, making peace over pizza. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Premier Doug Ford chat over lunch and settle their differences on trade. But first, in York Region, one man is dead after a shooting this afternoon.
The CTV News chopper was over the scene at a commercial plaza in Vaughan near Weston Road and Colossus Drive. That's where we find CTV's John Musselman tonight. John, what's the latest?
Well, Michelle, we're just across the street from this plaza. Police updated us a short time ago. They say that the man involved here, the victim, did die in hospital. We'll show you some video here. York Regional Police were called to this plaza just after 1 o'clock. They say that the victim had come out in an area of business when he was approached by the gunman and shot multiple times. The victim rushed to hospital, as I mentioned, but he did not survive. Now, police say the suspect, or possibly two suspects, took off in a dark-colored SUV. We did have a chance to talk to police. They say this is definitely a targeted shooting. Here's what they had to say.
So initial information is that he was shot multiple times outside of the business. In terms of the sequence of events, that is something our investigators, our homicide investigators, and our forensic investigators would try to look through and see what exactly transpired.
And an hour after the shooting here at this location, police were called to another scene at Kipling and Woodbridge. That's where they found an SUV that had been set on fire deliberately. They think that may be connected to what happened here. That's something they're all looking into. Reporting live from the scene, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. One person has been injured in an early morning stabbing on a GO train. Police say the victim was stabbed around 12:45 and got off the train at Weston GO station. They were taken to hospital in serious but stable condition. The circumstances surrounding this incident and just where it happened are unclear. No word at this point on suspects.
Not exactly biking weather out there, but this next story involves a group of Toronto cyclists who were stopped at a light when they were hit by a car, and Toronto police charged them instead of the driver.
Now, CTV's John Woodward reports they're filing a complaint accusing the police of wasting scarce resources in the justice system.
This bike party rolls through Toronto streets every Thursday night in the summer with a well-lit group of cyclists that call themselves the Neon Riders.
Bicycles, lights, fun, that's what our rides are all about.
Organizer Steve De Silva says the dozens of riders aren't making a point, they're just using the roads and bike lanes.
We very rarely get any altercations with cars, and if anything, when we pass by, people look at us in awe and they cheer us on.
In August of 2024, one of those altercations was caught on video. The driver of that blue car appears to hit several riders stopped at a light.
What she did was extremely dangerous. It could have very seriously injured our riders or even killed someone.
De Silva said he called 911. Toronto police arrived, spoke with the driver, and charged two of the cyclists who were hit with uttering threats.
We were all in shock about this.
Of course, video evidence didn't show this.
Biking lawyer David Shellnut fought the charges for a year and a half as they wound through the courts. They were recently dropped. Shellnut now filing a complaint.
You have a year of spent resources on a case that there shouldn't have been any charges laid if the police had done their job.
Ontario's Ministry of Attorney General didn't respond to questions from CTV News. Toronto police said in a statement they charged the cyclists after speaking to a witness and the complainant, and decisions to withdraw or stay charges are made by prosecutors and can happen for a variety of reasons. A withdrawal doesn't mean there weren't grounds to lay the charges at the time. Statistics show Ontario's courts are under increasing strain. In the category of charges that includes uttering threats, police filed tens of thousands more charges last year than they did 10 years ago. And tens of thousands more charges are being withdrawn.
The riders who did nothing wrong and who got hit were the ones who were punished. So that obviously leaves a very, very bad taste in the mouth of a lot of our riders, but it's not going to stop us from having fun.
De Silva says their bike party will roll again in the spring. John Woodward, CTV News.
A former Canadian Olympic snowboarder accused in a drug smuggling ring made his first court appearance in the U.S. today. Ryan Wedding pleaded not guilty in front of a judge in Santa Ana, California. He turned himself in at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City last week after a lengthy effort by authorities to track him down and arrest him. The former FBI fugitive is accused of running a billion-dollar multinational drug trafficking ring and orchestrating multiple killings. He was indicted in 2024. In Canada, Wedding faces separate drug charges dating back to 2015.
Food insecurity was the focus as MPs returned to work on Parliament Hill after their 6-week holiday break.
The Prime Minister announced a plan to counter the high cost of groceries and a GST rebate for about 12 million Canadians. CTV senior political correspondent Mike Lecouteur has those details.
So we're acting today.
Choosing to be in a produce store instead of Parliament, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced new measures to tackle the affordability crisis. The Liberal government is renaming the GST credit the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit and raising it by 25% for 5 years. With an additional one-time payment this year, the average family of four will get nearly $2,000 in 2026 and $1,400 each of the following years. The measure is expected to help 12 million low-income Canadians.
On average, these payments make up for the higher level of food prices since the pandemic.
Carney also laid out a new national food security strategy to strengthen domestic food production and improve access to nutritious food. The GST measures aren't new, according to the Conservatives.
Today's announcement is a recycled Trudeau-era policy. It will not permanently provide relief. It is a temporary measure.
The focus on pocketbook issues is a clear response to the #1 concern of Canadians, according to this pollster.
That's going to be the battleground for the next federal election, and it's going to be the key way that Canadians judge both Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre.
With a campaign-style announcement today, it had some wondering if Canadians could be headed to the polls this spring.
Of course we're not. We're not. We're focused on results for Canadians.
That includes the GST boost announced today. The minority government will need opposition support to pass the bill before the benefit can get into the hands of Canadians. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
The announcement of a Canadian trade deal with China was a hot topic between Mark Carney and Doug Ford last week. Today, the two leaders met in Toronto. CTV's Abigail Beeman has the details.
We're going to put on his tab.
Pizza topped with pleasantries.
Very productive meeting. Yeah, productive. It's all about Team Canada.
But the Premier has been highly critical of the Prime Minister's trip to China and what Doug Ford called a terrible deal to allow 49,000 Chinese EVs into Canada in exchange for lower canola tariffs.
Did you guys make up?
Well, we never had a problem. And yeah, is there differences? Sure there is. But I can tell you one thing, we agree on 99% of the stuff.
Ford said autos were about one of 5 topics discussed. While the Prime Minister hasn't shared much about talks with the U.S. President, as CUSMA, the North American Free Trade Deal, is up for review this year. Over the weekend, Donald Trump took several swipes at Canada on Truth Social, relaunching his old insult for Justin Trudeau, calling Carney governor, a 51st state reference.
In this role, you get called a lot of things, a lot of time, and I'm not going to comment on every tweet or truth or comment from whoever, so I can handle it.
Before question period, the minister responsible for Canada-U.S. trade did offer a rare glimpse into the talks.
We have a narrow trade arrangement.
Saying he reinforced to U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, Canada is not pursuing a free trade deal with China, which the president is wildly warning against.
I was reassured that Ambassador Greer understood very clearly what the agreement is and what it's not. And what was reassuring is his clear desire to work with us and Mexico in terms of a review of CUSMA.
Dominic LeBlanc spoke about speaking again with Greer later this week and meeting in the next few weeks. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Former Liberal cabinet minister and MP for Etobicoke North, Kirsty Duncan, has died. Duncan was the MP for the riding from 2008 until 2025 and had served in cabinet as Minister of Sport, Science and Persons with Disabilities. She had previously disclosed a years-long battle with cancer and announced last year she would not run for re-election. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau posted on X this afternoon that he is heartbroken by the loss. Kirsty Duncan was 59.
Ottawa is deploying a Royal Canadian Navy patrol vessel to Greenland. The ship will be there when Canada opens a new consulate next week. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says the vessel is a symbol of our country's growing collaboration with other Arctic allies. U.S. President Donald Trump recently de-escalated his demands for America to acquire the Danish territory. He had threatened to impose tariffs on European nations opposing the idea, but more recently ruled out the use of military force.
Marineland has been granted conditional approval for the export of its remaining beluga whales to the U.S. The federal fisheries minister met with representatives of the shuttered Niagara Falls theme park today. Jan.26 says she will issue final permits once Marineland provides more information. It presented what it called an urgent rescue solution to Ottawa last week to keep the 30 belugas alive. There have been earlier reports about a plan to ship the whales and 4 dolphins to 4 American aquariums, perhaps in Chicago, Atlanta, Connecticut, and SeaWorld, which has several locations. Marineland says it is grateful to the government for prioritizing the lives of these remarkable marine mammals.
There was more tension in Minneapolis today with calls for impartial investigations into the fatal shooting by a Border Patrol officer on Saturday. Sabrina Rivet is with Nouveau, CTV's French-language sister network.
So I am standing right here where Alex Preddy was killed last weekend. So let me just show you the memorial so you can see all the floral tributes and the messages left in memory of the 37-year-old nurse. Citizens are coming here to pay their respect. There is a lot of solidarity. In fact, many residents fear that if the investigation is led by the federal government via the FBI, justice will never be served. Let's hear from some of the people I spoke with on the ground.
I'm here because we saw this terrible video of this young man being shot in the middle of the street while he's on the ground. Obviously, we can't allow that ever to happen in the United States of America. So we all need to help all these people in Minneapolis stand up to this craziness.
The signs are everywhere here in the streets in Minneapolis. In addition to the outgoing protests, graffiti can be seen on buildings, benches, and bus shelters calling for immigration police to leave the city. Last night, protesters gathered in front of a hotel where ICE agents were reportedly staying. We will continue to follow this story. From Minneapolis, Sabrina Rivet for Nouveau Info.
Also below the border, at least 25 deaths are being blamed on the massive winter storm that swept across much of the country over the weekend. Residents in the Northeast started to dig out as the region got more snow today on the tail end of that storm. It also unleashed sleet, ice, and frigid temperatures across much of the South and the East. Tens of millions of Americans were affected, and at least 25 governors declared states of emergency. Hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses lost electricity, and thousands of flights were canceled. Road traffic in many areas was also halted. The storm is moving out of the East Coast, but the extreme cold is due to last into early next month.
The Arctic and Canada's role in the region has been making news because of tension over Greenland, but climate change is also transforming our far north.
It is also impacting Ottawa's approach to enforcing sovereignty. CTV's Heather Wright has more from Yellowknife.
The barrels are underneath, you can't see them.
This is home for Darren Boutillier.
Come on, let's go.
He lives in one of about 30 houses on Great Slave Lake in Yellowknife, which float in the summer and sit on the ice during the winter. And over the last several years, he's seen firsthand the impacts of climate change in the north.
It's been huge. We're a dry, arid area anyways, but we've had so much less rain in the last few years. The lake has actually dropped anywhere from 4 to 6 feet.
The Arctic is warming faster than any other part of the planet, causing dramatic sea ice loss, thawing permafrost, and more extreme weather. According to Canada's Arctic foreign policy, climate change is considered the most pressing threat to Canada's security in the Arctic and the people who live here.
The biggest thing is the disappearance of the ice. which will generate increased harvesting of natural resources in the north, as well as maritime traffic.
Pierre LeBlanc is the former commander of Canadian Forces Northern Area. He says climate change will further intensify geopolitical competition by opening up shipping routes and creating more access to resource development, underlining the need for more surveillance.
Projects are being developed as we speak to increase our ability to not only monitor the Canadian Arctic, but also to deal with issues should they happen.
And as the climate warms, we're seeing very, very dramatic changes to the landscape.
Experts say security surveillance also needs to include environmental monitoring.
If we have a strong knowledge base, we're in a position of strength. And that creates resilience and strength and security within our infrastructure corridors and for our northern communities.
While a warming Arctic presents economic opportunity here in the Arctic, it will also disrupt the delicate ecosystem and the people who live here, with advocates calling for stricter environmental protections. Heather Wright, CTV News, Yellowknife.
From the far north to our own little tundra and the big task at hand. Coming up, when there's seemingly endless amounts of snow to shovel, how to dig out without throwing your back out, or worse.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, if you invest, be careful if you see stock tips online or in social media posts. They could be connected to pump and dump scams. A man from Richmond Hill just got scammed out of $260,000. All of that story, that's just ahead.
Well, I hope everyone had a good snow day, whether that was outside or cozy, warm inside. We've talked about this, but here's another look at the fact that yesterday's snow at Pearson Airport was record-breaking. Our snowiest day in Toronto of all time. Now, the record to beat was back in February of 1965, and we smashed that record of 39.9 centimeters. Here's a look at the snow that's expected this week. It's mainly in the snowbelt areas. We might pick up a trace to a centimeter or two here locally, but the bigger story is going to be the cold right through to the end of January. Stay with us. We will have a look at your 7-day forecast after the break.
If you invest, it's important to do your due diligence or speak with a financial advisor to make sure your finances are in good hands.
Criminals are now creating fake websites and forums and using the logos of reputable companies for something called pump and dump fraud. Pat Foran explains on Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. Pump and dump scams are when criminals try to create hype around a stock and pump it up. But when you buy it, they dump it. You're led to believe the stock is going to take off, but once it collapses, they take the profits and you lose your money. So when you moved your money into Wealthsimple, how quickly did this ad pop up on Instagram?
Almost immediately after.
Israel Clyde of Richmond Hill had his investments with a major Canadian bank, but recently, due to a promotion, he decided to move his funds to Wealthsimple. The transfer went smoothly. After he made the switch, he was on Instagram when he saw a Wealthsimple offer to take part in an online trading platform on how to make money in the stock market.
Those ads had the Wealthsimple name and the logo. It looked legitimate from Wealthsimple.
Clyde says the trading group suggested he buy a stock. He did, and within days, he doubled his money.
I sold the stock, but actually made $14,000 on this transaction. So I was like, oh, well.
Clyde felt the advice must be trustworthy, so he made a much larger investment. But this time, things went bad fast.
As soon as I bought it that day, 5 minutes later, the stock tanked. It went from $1.68 US to 10 cents at the time. And I just panicked.
He was caught in a pump and dump scam and lost $260,000. When he tried to contact the forum again, it was shut down.
Tried to get into the group chat. Everything was gone. Like the phone numbers looked like they just were erased.
Wealthsimple told CTV News. Wealthsimple reported more than 10,000 fraudulent ads to Meta, and we're only one of many financial institutions fighting this issue. Wealthsimple will never recommend specific stocks or securities to buy. To avoid pump and dump scams, don't listen to social media investment tips or hype through online forums. Be concerned if there is limited company information, promises of guaranteed returns, or unusual trading spikes or dips. Losing $260,000 means he now has to rethink his retirement plans.
For 2 weeks, I wasn't able to sleep. It was very upsetting, very upsetting.
And anytime you're told you can double your money quickly, that should be a red flag. Most investments have to be held long-term and increase in value over time. And beware of social media using logos of well-known financial institutions, as they may be fakes. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
What a way to start another week. All kinds of snow. Luckily, the heavy stuff, it's gone. But now the story is the cold and the winds blowing all that snow around.
Yeah, it just seems like this weather story won't stop, Lindsay.
Yeah, it is ongoing, Nathan and Michelle. An endless winter is what it's starting to feel like for many, I think. Okay, so we are out on the patio here at CTV, and you'll recall we were out here last week. So there was already some snow on the ground, but we were still curious as to what it looked like out here, how much snow there might be. We did a little bit of shoveling. This is about up to my knees, this snow. But if we stick the tape measure in, let's see, oh, it just keeps going there. Yeah, so that is just shy of 50 centimeters right there. So that might give you a little bit of a visual as to how much snow there has been recently here in the GTA. And for some, it was all that snow in one go yesterday. So you know what this reminded me of, and maybe some of you at home as well? The year 1999. And why is that? You ask? Well, that was the year that then Mayor Mel Lastman famously called in the army to help clear the snow in the city of Toronto. Now, it was a bit of a different setup at that time. There had been more days consecutively of snow. There was about 100 centimeters on the ground in many cases, in many areas, I should say. However, that January, about 79 centimeters of snow fell, and this January, we've now seen more than that. So take a look at these numbers. 88.4 centimeters of snow is what we've had so far this year. We'll take a look at the board so you can see the comparison directly of 1999 to 2026. But we're partying like it's 1999 tonight. As for what is left to come, not much more in the way of snow, but it's cold once again. We are under a cold warning here in southern Ontario, including in the city of Toronto. And this is because wind chills late this evening, overnight, and into tomorrow morning are going to feel into the minus 20s or even near minus 30. Temperature-wise right now, yeah, it's still pretty cold. In many areas, it feels like minus 30, just about. In Moosonee, for example, feels like minus 18 this hour at Pearson Airport. Current temperature is minus 12. Here's a look at what we're expecting through the overnight hours tonight. Minus 15 for the low, but look at Hamilton, look at Waterloo, check out Bancroft. Wind chills near minus 30 again overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. So for the kids waking up, and yes, kids likely going back to school tomorrow, you're going to need all the layers. You need the mitt, you need the neck warmer, you need the hat, and you need those snow pants to get around. Temperature-wise in the afternoon tomorrow, nice little rebound to about minus 8 degrees. It's all relative, isn't it? Suddenly this looks like not such a bad day compared to some of the ones we've had. Mix of sun and cloud, chance of flurries, and once again, the risk of some blowing snow out there. We've been watching some lake effect bands. They're starting to weaken. There are still some squall watches and warnings in place. Here's what they look like right now. As we make our way through the next couple of days here, winds are going to shift a little bit. They're still going to be quite gusty, and as a result, we could see a couple of flurries in and around the GTA as well. On the forecast radar, you can see chance of flurries, not really much in the way of accumulating snow for us here locally. So that's less of the story going forward compared to the cold. We're going to take a look at your 7-day forecast and show you that we remain below seasonal right through to the end of January. Little bump in temperature on Sunday as we welcome the month of February. And how about that? Next Monday is Groundhog Day. Let's see what Wyerton Willie has to say about all this. Will it be an early spring or 6 more weeks of winter? I don't know. Who's to say right now? I'm going to put my money on a little more winter at this point, though. Michelle and Nathan, how about you?
It feels like Groundhog Day with all these storms. We've had enough, Lindsay. Thank you so much. That was fun. Walk down memory lane.
Thank you.
Also tonight, they heated up TV screens, and now the stars of the hit show Heated Rivalry are keeping the flame going, so to speak, serving as Olympic torchbearers in Italy. Highlights from their leg of the relay after the break. Well, if you don't own a snowblower, you may have been saddled with a major workout this morning.
You might still have some more snow clearing ahead of you. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has some tips on how to shovel safely.
For some people, the shoveling started last night.
It's decent because we did a bunch of phases yesterday.
Okay.
So I think if we didn't get ahead of it, it would be really hard.
When you're shoveling snow, it's a real strenuous physical activity, and it can have a lot of extra workload on the heart.
Dr. Alan Grill says it's a full body workout that can stress the heart.
You're using your arms, your legs, your back. Secondly, when it's cold outside, your blood vessels tend to constrict. If people have heart disease, they can narrow because of cholesterol, etc. So if they narrow even more when it gets cold outside, that also increases the stress on the heart. Cold weather increases blood pressure, making the heart work even harder to keep the body going.
Take frequent breaks and don't overload your shovel. Use your legs to bear the weight and try not to twist your spine. Physiotherapist Kate Moffat says she anticipates people will start coming in with aches and strains in the next day or so.
The most common is low back injuries, followed by shoulder or kind of bicep and arm injuries.
And when you come in from the cold?
Our instinct is to rest and be still. And the best treatment for low back pain is to keep yourself gently moving. Simple pelvic tilt, some seated marching, just anything that keeps those muscles moving a little bit is going to help them settling down. Taking a walk just around your home.
She says winter isn't done with us yet, so learn to protect your body. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
When the topic of divorce was first portrayed in the play A Doll's House 150 years ago, the audience was shocked.
The once controversial play continues to resonate with audiences, and a new version is on stage now at the Minneapolis Theater. CTV's Andrea Case recently sat down with some of the cast.
I'm glad those tough times are over.
Is it really true? Am I dreaming?
It's real. You will never have to work like that again. We will have what we want.
This is a couple whose lives seem perfectly happy, but the marriage in Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House ends in divorce. Commonplace today, but when written in 1879, such a topic on stage was unheard of.
It's a potboiler, which is not what I expected.
This version was rewritten for the stage by American playwright Amy Herzog in 2022.
I also made assumptions about what A Doll's House was about. I'd heard of, it was the door slam that sort of shocked the world. It was a dusty piece of theater. But Ibsen, I think, especially what Herzog's done in this adaptation, is she's created a thriller. I mean, we're watching the last 3 days before a woman leaves. It's amazing.
Gray Powell and Haley Gillis played the married couple Torvald and Nora Helmer. This adaptation, in Gillis's words, is condensed.
There's lots of laughter.
Did you hear the woman in the front the other day?
And the audience is audibly reacting to what they're seeing on stage.
All I heard was yes.
Yeah, she went yes.
From this woman. It was amazing. Yeah. They're responding. And I think for the audience, depending on where they are age and stage-wise in their life, they respond differently.
Gillis says the play is a wild ride, a roller coaster.
With Nora, she's always thinking, and it's amazing to be given that opportunity. I feel like I'm growing.
Will she stay with you?
Oh my gosh, yes. I'll be very sad when this is over. No. I'll grieve her. I'll definitely grieve her. But she'll be with me, for sure. Yeah. She makes me feel brave.
The two veteran actors of the Canadian stage had never worked together before, and while the characters' relationship doesn't end well, the same cannot be said of the actors.
I found out that you were going to do it. That was very exciting to me because I've been watching Gray Powell on stage for a while. I'm a big fan.
It's been an absolute pleasure. The company and the room that Brendan has sort of curated and created. It's a real treat.
The CanStage production of A Doll's House is on stage now at the Minneapolis Theater. Andrea Case, CTV News.
The stars of one of the biggest shows on television right now are turning up the heat ahead of the Olympic Games in Italy. That's Hudson Williams and Connor Story participating in the torch relay in Italy yesterday. The Olympic Organizing Committee announced last Thursday that they would take part in the event. The two play fictional professional hockey stars who have a secret relationship in the hit series Heated Rivalry. The opening ceremony, the Milano Cortina Winter Games, is February 6th.
After the break, some long-awaited news for transit riders. We now know when the Eglinton Crosstown LRT will open. We'll tell you when service is scheduled to start.
Big news for transit riders. CTV News has now confirmed the long-awaited Eglinton Crosstown LRT is scheduled to be open within the next 2 weeks. February 8th is due to be the opening day for this transit link. This is according to a source with direct knowledge of the project. The line was supposed to open all the way back in 2020, but has been plagued with delays, lawsuits, and safety issues. So February 8th is the date. The official announcement hasn't been made yet by the TTC.
BMO is replacing the Air Miles rewards program. B&M Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez explains what comes next.
A new program called Blue Rewards will launch in the summer. If you have an Air Miles card, hang on to it. You can still use it, but the miles you collect will automatically convert to Blue points. Blue Rewards will use the Expedia platform for bookings. Today, Shell Canada announced it's ending its partnership with Air Miles and moving to Scene, which is owned by Scotiabank. Allied Gold is being bought by a Chinese firm in a deal valued at $5.5 billion. Zijin Gold is paying $44 cash per share for the gold miner. Allied has 3 assets, one in Cote d'Ivoire, one in Mali, and one in Ethiopia. The deal will require Ottawa's approval. Spot gold hit another record today, climbing above $5,000 an ounce. Investors have been rushing to pick it up with new tariff threats targeting Canada. The top movers on the TSX today were all precious metals. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up. West Texas Intermediate is down to 60.63. Western Canadian Select up $1.59 to 45.47. And the TSX lost 51 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
A heads up for those of you who enjoy pizza pops. You may want to check your freezers. A recall announced before Christmas over possible E. coli contamination has now expanded. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says several varieties are affected here, including 3 cheese, pepperoni and bacon, deluxe, and 3 meat. General Mills, which makes pizza pops, said it is working with retailers to remove potentially affected products, and it urges consumers to throw out items or return them to the store for a refund.
Tonight, a bigger GST credit aimed at helping with the cost of living.
The cost of groceries and everyday essentials has been too high for too long.
Who benefits and what it means for millions of Canadian families. Later on CTV National News and Watch on Crave.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Funny thing about a big dose of snow, it can put your plans for the day on ice while simultaneously sparking new ones.
The hills and neighborhoods across the region were alive with action. Kids everywhere embracing yet another January snow day. CTV Jessica Smith got in on the fun.
There's not much activity to do at home, so why not go outside and have some fun in the snow?
School was out, the sun was shining, and the record-breaking snowfall made for top-tier tobogganing conditions at Riverdale Park East.
Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. How do you like it?
10 out of 10. Perfect.
Kids and adults alike took full advantage of the extended weekend.
Obviously, with high school exams coming, it's like kind of a nice, relaxing day.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. We're having the best time, and we love snow days just as much as them.
Well, I go to U of T, and their campus is shut. So what better way to spend the time than to come out sledding?
From the classics like sleds, snowboards, and skis.
No, it's the first time I've done it. I just decided to try it and see if it was possible, and it certainly is.
To scooters, inflatables, and even cookie sheets, Toronto residents got creative to carve out some snowy fun.
It's like there's a lot of bumps, so it's kind of hard to stay on, but like
I got the hang of it after like one try, so it was kind of easy.
There are a few safety reminders from the City of Toronto before you head out to the hills, including checking to see if there's room at the bottom, making sure the hill is free of hazards, kneeling or sitting on your toboggan, and making sure children are all supervised by an adult.
For a full list of tobogganing hills monitored for safety across the GTA, you can head to the City of Toronto's website. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
All right, you took the advice of the one at the beginning of the story saying go out and enjoy the snow. It's simple.
Honestly, and I think we were kind of like kids last night looking out the window like, wow, look how much is falling. Pretty
I have
impressive.
to admit, I was mesmerized, but I haven't seen a dumping like that ever.
I know, and I know.
Record-breaking, pretty much every area.
Yeah, it's annoying having to shovel and stuff, but even, you start playing with it, you're like, okay, yeah, you find your younger self again.
And you were saying it was kind of slow if you were on the slopes.
Yeah, you could tell they're from the slopes, a little bit slower, the snow, especially on the ski hills as well. But I don't think any kids were complaining. And guess what? Our Lindsay Morrison, she's been outside all day and yesterday. Are we good for now, Lindsay, in terms of snow?
Yeah, I think we're done for now, Michelle and Nathan. Not much more in the way of accumulating snow, but we'll take one more look at the totals from yesterday. Significant around the region and record-breaking, as we've mentioned, too. Upwards of 60 centimeters of snow in downtown Toronto, the south end of Scarborough. Not much more snow left to go. Here's a look at what we're expecting to accumulate over the next day or so. It's really just the snow belts, maybe a trace amount for us here locally. The big story instead, the cold. We are under a cold warning. The next couple of days are looking chilly here in the GTA. Here's a look at what you can expect tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Slight bump in temperature this weekend as we welcome February. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Is it February already? Thank you, Lindsay. Head to the fire tonight. Put your feet up. Great work for Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by our Zoraida Alman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night.